As some of you probably are coming to know, I'm full of a lot of relatively useless information. I know a lot of weird facts and things like that. Part of it is I enjoy history, and part of history is there's a lot of really weird facts that really don't have anything to do with our lives. The other part is, I have to admit, I kind of find it fun to know that stuff. And the last part is I'm a priest. We use those for homilies. So here's an interesting, weird, and relatively not important fact. One of the second great councils of, I think it's the second great council of the church, the Council of Ephesus, was started because of today's feast. And it was called, or actually commanded to start, I have to admit, by the emperor, because his dockhands at Constantinople were getting into fights over whether or not Mary should be called the Mother of God. There were some that said, no, she was the mother of Jesus, the humanity of Christ, not the mother of God. And there were others that said, no, she is the mother of God. And by golly, they were so invested in it, they started fistfights and riots and everything else. And the emperor said, enough, I want my ports open so I can make money. Bishops, figure this one out. And so the Council of Ephesus started, and it came out through the council that no, really, Mary is the Mother of God. And it holds actually a rather significant theological thing for us. Because if Mary was not the Mother of God, then Christ was not truly man and divine. He would have been this odd mix of human and divine, but not truly divine or truly human, which is really important for our salvation, that he be both. And so that's what the Council Fathers said. They looked at it and they went, no, this has to actually be able to be her title, Mother of God. Why? Because if it is not true, then Christ could not truly be our Savior. If he really was human and divine, then he had to be human and divine from the very beginning. Hence, she had to be both the mother of the humanity of Christ and the divinity, which is really kind of this neat aspect to it. But the thing that I always find the most interesting about these feasts of Mary is that they don't point really towards herself. Look at the feasts of Mary, all the major ones, right? The Mother of God, the Annunciation, the Immaculate Conception, many of the others, right? When we look at those, who are they ultimately pointing towards? What was ultimately going on? It was a discussion about Christ. And so all these titles that we give to Mary really come from our understanding of her son, Christ. And so Mary really, all that she is doing here is pointing towards her son. Yes, this is an important feast day. Yes, this is something that we should celebrate. But ultimately, what is this day doing? It's not pointing towards Mary. It's pointing at Mary, but really past her towards Christ and a mystery of Christ. And I guess that's what I'm encouraging us today. May people, when they look at us and when they point towards us and say, look at him or look at her, aren't they awesome? Aren't they wonderful? They really shouldn't be pointing towards us, but pointing towards the one whom we serve, to Christ. When they see us, ultimately our goal should be that they really are ultimately seeing another Christ. That's the example that Mary gives us, especially today with her title, Mother of God. has very little to do with her and everything to do with Christ. And also, lastly, I'm not saying I want us to go out and start fistfights with someone that disagrees with us. But may we also ask God for the fervor that those sailors had for their faith, where they were willing to go and to fight over a title. May we have that same fervor, not to go into fistfight with someone, but to spread the good news, to spread the love of Christ, and to spread the truth and the hope that he gives to us.